Alex here with Turf Addicts. I'm going to show you all you addicts out there some tips, tricks, and even show you some tools that I use to help you have a better yard, which will justify your addiction. The topic of today's video, I'm going to show you how to repair your yard from 2020. Now me, I broke one of the golden rules. I took a blow-up pool and I left it in the yard all summer. But seeing the joy and happiness on my son's face, it was worth it. And I had planned on taking that area and putting some pavers there, but I completely ran out of time whenever I was aerating and seeding to fix that area because I had a lot of other projects going. I buried my downspouts, and I also had some indoor projects going on as well. Also, the holidays came on me quicker than I anticipated, as you can tell by the tree behind me. So I'm going to show you what I did to fix this area, and I'll also follow up with a video in the spring showing how the results of everything. Now there is another way you can do it if you don't have a way to either dethatch or scarify the area. You can actually use a garden weasel, which here's a picture right here. Now that garden weasel will work perfect, so don't feel bad if you don't have a way to scarify that area. Just use that garden weasel in the exact same way that I use that scarifier and really work that seed into the soil. Now the reason why I use the scarifier is my ground was just a little bit harder. I tried going over it with the garden weasel and it was just too hard. So I wanted something just to break up that ground just a little bit more because you really want seed to soil contact. Brings me to my other point. On top of the last sprinkle of seed I put on, it would be a really good idea to put something like peat moss or something on top of it to keep that seed from washing away and give it a little bit more contact. Now I opted not to use it on this project. Again, I'm kind of testing a few different theories, but another really real reason and kind of excuse for me is I live about 25 minutes from the closest place that I can go get some peat moss. And this section is really, really small, so I didn't want to go buy a huge bag of it just to repair this small area. Again, I'll follow up with a video in the spring to show you my results from not using peat moss and from using this method. But there are some tips, and I'll show you guys how I actually fixed it. So step one, which is not in this video, is you've got to remove that dead grass. Now what I did is I used a dethatcher, dethatched it all up, bagged it, and hauled it off. So the second step is you've got to break that soil up, whether you use a garden weasel or a power rake or a scarifier, you've got to break that soil up. That way, whenever you put the seed down, you have seed to soil contact. Video, I went in 2 separate directions, a total of 3 different times. That way it totally breaks up the ground and I have no margin for error for when my seed has soil. All right, so I just scarified this little area here. What I did was I went this way one time, and I went this direction. Then I threw some seed down with my hand spreader. Then I went one more time with the scarifier this way over the top of the seed. Then by hand, I just sprinkled a little bit more seed down. The third step, and this is probably the most important one, is you've actually got to have seed down. Without seed, you're not gonna have any grass. But that grass won't grow unless it's in the soil. Now there's a fine line, you don't wanna bury the seed, but you do wanna have soil or something around it. That way, whenever it starts to grow, it's got something to latch onto to not only grow down, but up as well. Fourth step, I'm gonna kind of call this optional, although it's highly advised. I would put peat moss on top of the last layer of seed, just a light dusting. That way it not only keeps that in the ground, that way no birds or squirrels or any other animals take off with it, but then it also gives that extra layer of seed to soil contact. But not only the contact, it's also gonna hold water. So you shouldn't have to water it as often if you have something like that on top of the seed. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do, please consider subscribing. Also hit that like button down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!